President Trump says he is not happy with deadly Russian strikes on Ukraine. Vladimir stopped the words of President Donald Trump in a social media post that dropped. In the last hour he was reacting to the latest deadly overnight attack on Kyiv missile and drone strikes rained down on the Ukrainian capital, many of them on residential areas. In all 12 buildings in Kyiv were hit in one attack, which killed at least 8 people. The Ukrainians have recovered fragments of a North Korean ballistic missile, a KN-23. The search and rescue teams that are combing the rubble for survivors say there are still phone calls coming from beneath at least one of the buildings destroyed. They think at least 10 people are still missing. More than 70 were taken to hospital, among them 6 children earlier. President Zelensky announced he was canceling part of his trip to South Africa. He will return immediately to Ukraine. But while in Toria, the Ukrainian president said more pressure must be placed on Russia to try to end the conflict. Vladimir Zelensky says Ukraine has already made plenty of concessions in a post on Truth Social yesterday. Donald Trump accused him of wrecking a peace deal that the U.S. president claims he's already agreed with Vladimir Putin, and last night from the Oval Office he went further. I will say that I think Russia is ready, and a lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing, and I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky. And I hope that I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky so far. It's been harder, but that's okay. It's all right, but I think we have a deal with both. I hope they do it well. Our correspondent in Kyiv, John Donison, has been out to see the destruction for himself this morning. And a short time ago he gave us this update. If peace is just around the corner, it doesn't feel like it. Ukrainian anti-aircraft fire tried to repel the most lethal Russian attack on the capital Kyiv in months. Rescuers work through the night to try and recover the dead and injured in the light of day. The damage a residential block not far from the center flattened. I was really scared already, but when I got out of the building and saw that the house next door was completely destroyed, probably scared is the wrong word, I believe. I send the souls of all the people who died there. Others may have been lucky to get out with their lives but are now homeless. This is thought to have been the deadliest Russian attack on the capital Kyiv since last July. And it comes at a point when the United States is really ramping up pressure to try and get a ceasefire deal. If they're both happy, they both sign, but it's Ukraine, not Russia, which is being squeezed, with President Trump calling President Zelensky inflammatory and harmful to peace. We have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky so far. It's been harder on the ground in Ukraine, though. Many increasingly no longer see President Trump as an honest broker. On the one hand, the Russians talk about peace, Russian peace, but we can see what their peace looks like. But it's Ukraine that is feeling the heat. President Trump is impatient to get a deal, but neither side seem ready to make the compromises needed to get one. Let me show you that message that President Trump put out in the last hour on Truth Social. I am not happy, says, with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary, very bad timing. Vladimir, stop 5. Wow, 0 soldiers a week are dying.